like you to help me welcome Mr. Jeff Snow. Mr. Snow comes to us with rave reviews from his other venues, so we're very excited to have him here tonight. He plays multiple instruments, as I'm sure you can see, including 6 and 12-string guitars. I don't know if I'm going to say this right, the Celtic bouzouki? Celtic bouzouki and the auto harp. Over the course of the evening, he's going to share songs, music, stories from Scotland, England, and Ireland. And I'm going to help me welcome Mr. Jeff Snow.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's go.
Hi.
Hi. It's that Irish woman there. She's. Near Bainbridge town in the county Down, one morning last July, down the Bordeen Green came a sweet Colleen, smiled as she passed me by. She looked so neat from her 2 bare feet to the sheen of her nut brown hair. Coaxing elf had to pinch myself to be sure I was really there. From Bantry Bay to Derry Quay, from Galway to Dublin town, no maid I've seen like the sweet Colleen that I met at the county Down. As she onward sped and I shook me head, I gazed with a feeling queer. And I said, says I, to a passer-by, who's the maid with the nut brown hair? Smiled at me with pride, says he, she's a gem of Ireland's crown. Young Rosie McGann from the banks of the Bann, she's the star of the county Down. Bantry Bay to Derry Quay, from Galway to Dublin town. No maid I've seen like the sweet Colleen that I met at the county Down. I've traveled a bit, never was a hit till my roving career began. Fair and square, I surrendered there to the charms of young Rose McCann. I'd a heart to let, no tenant yet, did I meet with a shawl or a gown. In she went, I asked no rent from the start of the county Down. Bantry Bay to Derry Quay, from Galway to Dublin town. No maid I've seen like the sweet Colleen that I met at the county Down. At the harvest fair she'll surely be there, and I'll dress in my Sunday clothes, with my shoes shone bright, my hat cocked right for a smile from my nut brown rose. No pipe I'll smoke, no horse I'll yoke, till my plough is rust-colored brown, and a smiling bride by my own fireside is the start of the county Down. Bantry Bay to Derry Quay, from Galway to Dublin town. No maid I've seen like the sweet Colleen that I met at the county Down. Bantry Bay to Derry Quay, from Galway to Dublin town. No maid I've seen like the sweet Colleen that I met at the county Down. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow, we are full. Cool. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks to each and every one of you coming out tonight and supporting your library and all the good things that they do. The first one was a traditional Irish tune called The Starter of the County Down, and I know there's some people who were singing along with that. Singing along is encouraged and welcomed, and feel free to sing the words correctly if I don't. Sometimes my brain locks up and I just make stuff up. And the second one was a traditional English tune called Greensleeves. Most of you are familiar with that. We take it out at Christmas time with a different set of words, and we call it What Child Is This? But we're going to have a little bit of a trivia contest right now. And I do have a prize, so you might want to pay attention. Everybody in this room, I think, yes, is old enough to remember the Beatles. What Beatles song has 3 seconds of Greensleeves in it? Well, thanks for coming. I get to keep the prize one more night. The Beatles, if we all remember the Beatles, they started off as a really straight 4/4 rock and roll band. That's just what they did. And then somewhere along the way, they went up on the mountaintop and they met the Maharishi. And their music kind of changed with their attitudes and their beliefs. So in that period where their music was morphing back and forth, they recorded a song called All You Need Is Love. Yeah, everybody's nodding. Yeah, we remember that song. The last minute or so of All You Need Is Love has got a whole bunch of noise and different sounds in it. I know they keep going, all you need is love, love, love is all you need. And beep, beep, honk, honk, and all this other stuff. At the 3-minute and 15-second mark, you have to listen for it, but it's there. At the 3-minute and 15-second mark, listen for the strings. There's a little string section that's added in the background, and the string section is playing Greensleeves. There's also a little section in there in that minute or so of Glenn Miller's In the Mood. The Glenn Miller Band wanted to sue the Beatles for putting In the Mood in the Beatles song. I'm not sure whatever happened with that. But it is there at the 3-minute and 15-second mark. So I have played an Irish one, and I have played an English one, and that brings me around to playing a Scottish one. Full disclosure, I talked to a couple of people earlier. I am a Scot. My great-grandparents came from a place called Paisley, Scotland. I grew up in a very Scottish household. A lot of the music that you hear tonight will be the songs and the things that I learned as a little boy growing up, because the only music that played in the house were the old Scottish folk songs. That's all my dad would listen to. My great-grandparents came here in something that came to be known as the Highland Clearances. And the Highland Clearances were one of those terrible times in Scottish history. Happened in the mid-1800s. The Highlands of Scotland were 1 or 2 large tracts of land up through the middle. And the landowners owned these massive, massive tracts of land that they broke up into smaller pieces of land that they called crofts. And think of the sharecroppers that we used to have here. It's the same concept. The crofters would be people who had a piece of land. It might be a couple of acres. It might be 10 or 12 acres that they would farm or raise animals on or do something with to make money. And every year they would go back to the landowner and pay him a tax for the use of the land. And that supported the landowner. He made a lot of money because he was collecting rent from hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. Mid-1800s, the landowners decided that having one big piece of land was much better than having hundreds of small pieces of land. We just need to get rid of those crofters. So they engaged the army, because back then the military would do your dirty work for you in the United Kingdom. And the army came in and they chased them off the land. And they burned their farms down. They killed a lot of them. And they took a lot of them to the coast and put them on ships. So not only were they exiled from the land, they were exiled from Scotland. And they were put on ships. Some of the ships came over and hit North America in the maritime provinces of Canada. And the people were put off the ship. So when you go up to the maritime provinces of Canada today, there's a lot of people of Scottish descent up there. That's how they got there. Some of the ships came over and they went up into the port of Wilmington, North Carolina. Same thing, they came off the ships, they went up into the Appalachian Mountains. The topography of the Appalachian Mountains is very similar to the topography of the Highlands of Scotland, so to some degree it felt like home for them to get up there. If you go down into the Appalachian Mountains today, you'll find people of Scottish descent. That is how they got there. That is also how I arrived in Chelmsford, Massachusetts tonight. It was a little more complicated than that, but that's how I got here. So as with so many things that happen in the Celtic world, good, bad, or indifferent, when something happens, they would write a song about it. So this is a song about the Highland clearances. Hush, hush, time to be sleeping. Hush, hush, dreams come creeping. Dreams of peace and of freedom. Don't cry in your sleep, bonny babe. Once our valleys were ringing with the sounds of the children singing. Now sheep bleat late in the evening, and sheilings lie empty and broken. Hush, hush, time to be sleeping. Hush, hush, dreams come creeping. Dreams of peace and of freedom. Don't cry in your sleep, bonny babe. We stood with heads bowed in prayer while factors laid the cottages bare. The flames, the fires, the clear mountain air. Many were dead by the morning. Oh, 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 hush, hush, time to be sleeping. Hush, hush, dreams come creeping. Dreams of peace and of freedom. Don't cry in your sleep, bonny babe. Where was our proud Highland metal, our men once so fierce in battle, now stand cowed, huddled like cattle, waiting to be shipped o'er the ocean. No use pleading or praying, now gone, gone, all hopes of staying. Hush, hush, the anchor's awaying. Don't cry in your sleep, bonny babe. Oh, 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 hush, hush, time to be sleeping. Hush, hush, dreams come creeping. Dreams of peace and of freedom. Don't cry in your sleep, bonny babe. Thank you, thank you. That was cheery, eh? Well, it wasn't meant to be. You know, if you think back on the Celtic heritage that so many of you have, things weren't happy over there. There was a lot of bad stuff that happened, and it's just the way it was. And, excuse me, my throat's a little dry tonight. This is my crazy season, and I'm doing 2 of these a day, so my throat's just a little bit beat up. But we're going to get through this. We are. I like to follow that one up with a happier one, just because they seem to go well together. 1976, a man named Charlie Glendenning was getting married. Charlie Glendenning was the pipe major, who was the lead bagpiper of the City of Washington Pipe Band in Washington, D.C. Charlie's getting married to a woman named Paula, who was a bagpiper in the bagpipe band. It was a very special day. He wanted to do something for her to celebrate the occasion of their wedding. So he wrote a bagpipe tune, and he called the tune Moonstar after her favorite stone. And he didn't tell her any of this. Picture, if you can, the big cathedral Paula comes into the church on her father's arm. And they swing the doors open, and lining the walls of the church is the City of Washington Pipe Band, playing the tune that he wrote for his wife to be on that day. So that tune became a standard piece of the Celtic literature, standard bagpipe piece, and it's played at a lot of Celtic weddings, especially Scottish weddings today. One day, gosh, I don't remember how many years ago now, probably 10 or more, I was driving around listening to bagpipe music in the car, which I sometimes do, and Moonstar popped up in the rotation, and I was listening to it again, and I thought, this is really pretty. And then it struck me that I think there's some guitar music hiding in amidst all the bagpipes somewhere. So I thought, that would be really cool. So I called up Charlie, and I said, Charlie, I said, Moonstar? He said, yes. I said, there's a guitar piece hiding in there. And when he got done laughing, he told me if I could find it, I could have it. So this is Moonstar. Sorry. Sorry about that. Except for the blip in the middle, and my hands decided to go back and play Greensleeves again. That wasn't bad. I found it, my hands just had enough of it. That happens sometimes. 1851, more or less. And I tell you more or less, and you'll understand this. In the 1800s, in that time period, in places like Ireland, things didn't get written down much. They just happened. So if somebody was born in 1851, when they got to be an adult and they were asked what year they were born in, they pretty much had no idea. They asked them how old they were, and they said, I'm about 60 or 58 or something. You just didn't know. So we're going to use 1851 for this because that's everybody's best guess. There was a man named Michael Considine who was born in County Clare, Ireland, in a little crossroads place known as Spancel Hill. Michael Considine, as a teenager, decided that there was no future for him in Ireland, as most young Irishmen, or certainly a lot of young Irishmen did back then, and he was going to come to the United States. So over he came, and he came into Boston, and fairly quickly realized that there was no future for him in Boston because there were a lot more people than there were jobs, and if he wanted to succeed, he needed to go someplace else. So he heard about California, and he heard about the gold rush and all the money that was floating around out in California. So across the country he went, and he settled in San Francisco, where he died in 1873 at the ripe old age of 22. While he was sick and he knew that he was dying, and he knew that he would never get back to his hometown of Spancel Hill again. He wrote a poem, kind of a tribute, if you will, to his hometown back in Ireland. This is Spancel Hill. This is his poem set to music. Last night as I lay dreaming of pleasant days gone by, my mind was bent on rambling, to Erin's Isle I did fly. I climbed aboard a vision, sailed off with a will, till I gladly came to anchor at the cross of Spancel Hill. It being the 23rd of June, the day before the fair, Erin's sons and daughters, they were all assembled there. The young, the old, the stout and the bold, they came to sport and kill. It's a curious combination at the fair of Spancel Hill. I went to see my old home, as every stone could tell. The old boreen was just the same, the apple trees over the well. I miss my sister Ellen, my brothers Pat and Bill. There only were strange faces at the house on Spancel Hill. I went to see my neighbors, to hear what they might say. The old were getting feeble, the young ones turning gray. I met with Taylor Quigley, he's brave as ever still. He used to mend my breeches when I lived on Spancel Hill. I took a flying visit to my first and only love. She's pure as all the lilies, she's gentle as a dove. She threw her arms around me, saying, Michael, I love you still. She's Mac the ranger's daughter, she's the pride of Spancel Hill. And then I stooped to kiss her, as I did in days of yore. She said, Mike, you're only joking, as you often were before. The cock crew in the morning, he crew both loud and shrill. I awoke in California, far, far from Spancel Hill. And when my vision faded, tears came to my eyes. I'd hoped to see that dear old land once more before I die. May the joyous King of Angels his choicest blessings spill on that glorious piece of nature, the cross of Spancel Hill. Thank you, thank you. This is the part where you get to talk amongst yourselves for a minute. Anybody have any jokes they want to share with the group? Or a song that they'd like to sing while I do this? I need to gear up for what comes next, and it takes a minute or so. Nobody? Want me to just pick somebody? Someday I'm going to do that, just to see what happens. All right, let's try this. Who knows what this thing is?
Our
It is an auto harp. Who said that? How did you know that, ma'am?
I have an old one that's the ancestor of that one. Doesn't have the buttons.
Without the buttons. So it's a zither. A zither. This instrument came here from Switzerland around 1900, late 1800s, as a zither. And the Americanized version of it put the buttons on it. The buttons are essentially chord buttons, and I'll get into that in a minute. But it was designed as a strumming instrument for the school teachers. And I can assure you that it didn't sound anything at all like that. Those auto harps were made out of plywood, and plywood has zero resonating properties, so the instruments just sounded like a piece of plywood with strings on it. Many of you probably had one of these in middle school-ish, because in the early 1960s through the mid-1960s, the Oscar Schmidt Company got the really bright idea that if we put these in all the schools, then kids will learn how to play the auto harp, and every child will grow up and want to have an auto harp, and we'll sell millions of auto harps. Well, the idea was pretty good, but again, they went back to make the plywood auto harps. It didn't sound very good, and they didn't last very long, and they were just horrendous to keep in tune and all of that. So what I'm going to try and do for you tonight is something a little bit different. I'm not going to strum it, because that would be too easy. I'm a Scot, and we don't do anything the easy way. I'm going to try and finger pick it for you. Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? Yeah, you know?
Sure make it hum.
I'm sorry?
You sure make it hum.
Make it hum? Hum. Yeah, that is very cool. This instrument, isn't that something? How much sound comes out of this little bitty thing? Yeah, it's I've been very lucky. I can do this. Let me see if I can explain to you what happens here in non-musical sort of English. There are 36 strings on this beast. Each one makes a different note. There they go. There are 13 buttons. My left hand is pushing down buttons. I'm playing it with the right hand. My left hand is pushing down buttons. Each button is a different musical chord. A chord, simply put, is a combination of 3, sometimes 4 notes. When put together, they make a pretty sound. So each button is different. And so on, like that. Here's how that works. On the bottom of each button are pieces of felt. When I push the button down, the felts go down and they touch some of the strings. Not every string, but some of the strings. When the felt hits the strings no longer ring when I hit them because the felt is muting them out. Each chord has a different combination of strings that ring and strings that don't ring. So the notes that are available to me are different depending upon the button that is pushed down. If I do this, that sounds lovely all by itself, but if I do the same thing and I do it slowly, listen and you'll be able to hear the strings that don't ring. So, simply put, about half of them ring and half of them don't ring with each chord button that gets pushed down. And the combination is different with each chord button that put down. So the magic part is over here, trying to make sure you hit the strings that ring and miss the ones that aren't going to ring. That's where the practice part is. So let's see if you can recognize this one. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
So do you only play certain strings when you're pushing the chord button, or do you just play all the strings?
No, I'm aiming for certain strings. I'm aiming for the ones that are going to ring, and sometimes you're going to hit the string next to it.
Do you know which strings are going to be muted when you push those chord buttons?
Yes, yes, yes. That's yeah. And I suppose I should also clear one other thing up. This harp just has been on the road with me since March 1st. It replaced the harp that I've been playing for about 25 years. I have to watch my left hand a little bit with this one and my right hand because the layout is a little bit different here than what I've been used to. So if you see me looking down, I'm not really looking at my right hand, because if I start looking at my right hand, I'm going to come crashing to a halt. I can't think fast enough. I just have to trust my hand to go there. But the string layout is slightly different here, and the chord layout is slightly different here. So when you see me looking down, I'm making sure that I'm grabbing the right button, because many of the buttons are in a different place than what I'm used to, and it's only, I practiced with it for a couple of months before I took it out, but it came out on the road March 1st. Yeah, so we're getting there. I'm finding it. World War II, the northwest corner of Scotland, there was a man named George McIntyre who lived, I'm sorry, put that down. So I just realized I put this up in front of me, people over there. Peekaboo! George McIntyre lived up in the northwest corner of Scotland, a little village called Argyll. And he was in the local bagpipe band. If you ever go to Scotland, every village has their own little bagpipe band, and George was in the one up in Argyll. World War II broke out, and like so many young men, he joined the army and off he went to fight the Great War. He wasn't there very long before he was captured and held in a prisoner of war camp for the duration of the war. George McIntyre spent the war in the prisoner of war camp playing his bagpipe tunes in his head over and over and over again, just familiarizing himself with the tunes and trying to keep himself sane while the war raged on. While he was there, he also wrote a tune in his head, and when he got back to Scotland and back to Argyll, he taught it to the boys in the bagpipe band, and he gave it the name The Hills of Argyll. Yes, sir.
3 octaves on?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And is the guitar a Taylor?
This guitar?
Yes.
This guitar is a Taylor, yes, sir. Yeah.
And you have steel strings on it?
On the Taylor?
Yeah.
Yes. That is a Taylor GC5, short scale, a little bit custom, but it does have steel strings. Your guitar player, obviously.
Well, it was talking to me when you were playing.
This guitar was talking to you? The guitar's that's pretty sweet, isn't it? That guitar's pretty sweet. Yeah, it's got a Elixir medium lights on it. And I will tell you this, okay, can I just answer his question with a little guitar geeky stuff? Because he's obviously interested. This guitar came out of the Taylor custom shop with the right combination of woods, etc. I know somebody who heard this guitar, played this guitar, and ordered a duplicate of this guitar. Just duplicated the order. I want one of those. It's a great guitar. It's not this one. Guitars are made out of wood. Every piece of wood is a little bit different. All these instruments are made out of wood. So if you get a magical piece of wood, the instrument just sounds that much better. And I think that guitar has the magic pieces of wood in it. I think this auto harp has the magic pieces of wood in it too. I'm not sure about that thing, and I'm not really sure about me. But does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, I have a 710.
It's a big one. Big one. Yeah. This is the small one. This is the grand concert size. Yeah. Yeah.
Can I ask a question? What was the name of that tune? The what of Argyle?
The Hills of Argyle. The Hills of Argyle. Yeah, that's where he was from. Let's play an Irish one. There's an old Irish sea song called South Wind. Right there. You didn't think I was going to get the right one, did you? All right. I'm feeling brave tonight, but I don't know why. But I'm going to try something. I honestly, I don't try this all the time, but I'm going to try it tonight. Because you look like a very forgiving bunch. And I'm going to play you a fast one. I'm going to play you a three-parter, fast one. And if I get it, you're going to go, wow, that was really, really cool. And if I miss it, you're just going to look at me and go, what a pity. But I'm willing to give it a shot if you're willing to listen. This one's called Crown the Queen. I'm not even going to try and play another one after that. That is literally, you start to play it and you just hang on. There's a lot of stuff happening there. I am told a lot when I play the auto harp that I close my eyes when I play that. You're nodding. Well, there's a reason for that. And I will tell you, I will share that with you. It's an experiment that I do. I want to see if when I open my eyes, the people are still there. Or if they took advantage of the opportunity to run quick. Sometimes that happens. All right. Now we're going to move to the less serious side of the things. This is a bouzouki. I was asked about it. Some people asked when they came in tonight what that strange looking thing was. This is a bouzouki. There are two types of bouzouki's in the world. There is the Greek bouzouki. I have a Greek daughter-in-law, and I just can't. Yeah, I went through that whole Greek wedding thing. That movie was true. It was true. I went through that. I didn't see a lot of Windex, but there was some floating around. And then there's the Celtic bouzouki. This instrument was made by a man named David Freshwater in 1996, I believe, in Inverness, Scotland. David Freshwater was a custom bouzouki maker. This was one of the last ones that he made before he just stopped making bouzouki's. Probably in 97 or 98 he stopped making them. He realized that he had a 10-year backlog, and he was 84 years old. So he thought, I think I'm going to stop now. So this is the bouzouki. Very cool instrument. This instrument, if I just sit here and strum it, it just sounds, you can just get the picture in your head that you're in some moor somewhere in Ireland or Scotland. Doesn't it sound like that? That's just what it sounds like. So, the 1700s, sailing ships would leave from the various parts of the United Kingdom and they would go to sea. Their average journey was 7 years. The ship would leave and they would take something from point A to point B and then something from point B to point C. They'd pick up another load and they just kind of kept hopscotching their way around the world. But it was, on average, it was 7 years before they got back to their home port. So picture this. You were the wife or the girlfriend or the family of a sailor, and you walked him down to the ship, and you kissed him goodbye, and you watched the ship sail off, and you hung around for 7 years and wondered if he was coming back. And sometimes he did, and sometimes he didn't. And you never knew why, and you never knew if. There were no cell phones then. There was no internet. They just left, and if they came back, good for them. And if they didn't come back, maybe the pirates got them. Maybe they found somebody they liked in another place. Maybe he just wanted to live somewhere else. You never knew. So, we're back to writing songs about things that happened in Celtic lands. This is a song about an English sailor named John Riley. Fair young maid in her garden, strange young man came riding by, said, fair young maid, will you marry me? This then, sir, was her reply. No, kind sir, I cannot marry thee. I've a love, he sails the deep salt sea. He's been gone these 7 years, still no man shall marry me. What if he's died or in a battle slain? What if he's drowned in the deep salt sea? What if he's found another love? He and his true love both married me. If he's died or in a battle slain, I will die when the moon doth wane. If he's found another love, I will be true to his memory. He picked picked her up in his arms. Kisses gave her 1, 2, and 3. Said, weep no more, my own true love. I am your love, lost John Riley. Said, weep no more, my own true love. I am your love, lost John Riley. A happy love song. You thought I was going to lay another sad one on you, didn't you? Yeah, I don't think you can play sad songs on this. I don't think it works. All right, this is my favorite part of everything that I do right here. This is the part where you sing for me. Ooh, this is going to be cool. This is going to be really cool. All right. We're going to sing a song, and you're going to help me sing part of the chorus, and I will teach it to you. It's very simple, but I need to tell you the story that goes with it. My father's name was Donald, and I told you about how I grew up in a very Scottish household. My father's name was Donald. His best friend, who was Scot, coincidentally, was also named Donald. And the third member of their little group that got together quite often was Johnny Walker. And funny, Johnny Walker was always the first one to leave. It was weird like that. So Donald and Johnny would get together, and they would sing the songs and do whatever they did, and they would march around the house, and there was one song, one record they would play. Remember, there was records back then. They would play this record over and over and over again. It's a song about a man named Donald who lived up in the Isle of Skye, which is in the northwest part of Scotland. Beautiful place. If you've ever been to the Isle of Skye, you'd wonder why you ever left. And it's just a spectacularly beautiful place. So Donald left the Isle of Skye and he went down to London for a wee visit. And he was wearing his kilt. And the people in Scotland people in England rather, had never seen such a thing. They didn't know why anybody would wear something like that. And where are your pants? Where are your trousers? So they wrote a song about it, asking where the trousers were. So you're going to help me sing the chorus. I will sing the first line of the chorus. You will sing the second. The first line of the chorus is, "Let the wind blow high." Everybody laughs when I say that. It's just a line from a song. That's all it is. And I will sing back to you, "Let the wind blow low." You'll sing back to me, "Let the wind blow low." We'll get it. You understand what I meant. Let the wind blow high, let the wind blow low. Just like that. You ready? Let the wind blow high. Through the streets in my kilt I'll go. All the lassies shout, "Hello, Donald, where's your trousers?" I just come down from the Isle of Skye. I'm no very big, I'm awfully shy. The lassies shout when I go by, "Donald, where's your trousers?" Let the wind blow high. Through the streets in my kilt I'll go. All the lassies shout, "Hello, Donald, where's your trousers?" Well, a lassie took me to a ball. It was slippery in the hall, and I was afraid that I might fall, and I wasn't wearing my trousers. Let the wind blow high. Through the streets in my kilt I'll go. All the lassies shout, "Hello, Donald, where's your trousers?" Well, I went down to London town, and I had some fun in the underground. The ladies turned their heads around, saying, "Donald, what are your trousers?" Let the wind blow high. Through the streets in my kilt I'll go. All the lassies shout, "Hello, Donald, where's your trousers?" To wear the kilt is mighty light. It is not wrong, I know it's right. The Highlanders would get a fright if they saw me wearing trousers. Let the wind blow high. Through the streets in my kilt I'll go. All the lassies shout, "Hello, Donald, where's your trousers?" Let the wind blow high. Through the streets in my kilt I'll go. All the lassies shout, "Hello, Donald, where's your trousers?" Cool stuff. Thank you. You guys did great. You'd be amazed at how terrible that gets sometimes. Anybody familiar with the band Silly Wizard? Silly Wizard? Andy M. Stewart. Andy M. Stewart sadly passed away about 2 years ago as a result of some surgery that went horribly wrong, and he didn't make it. He was the front man for a band called Silly Wizard, which was a folk band through the 70s and 80s in Scotland. They were known all over the world. Andy Stewart was a brilliant singer, an amazing singer. He was probably a better songwriter. He wrote what I think is the saddest love song ever written. I'm not even going to attempt it. I couldn't do it justice. But I will give you the first line of the love song, and you can Google it and YouTube it and find the rest of it. The first line of the song is, "Where are you tonight, I wonder? Where will you be tonight when I cry?" And it goes downhill from there. Yeah. But he also wrote this one. This is another love song. And again, we're back up in Argyll. This is a song he wrote for a girl up in Argyll, the Queen of Argyll. Gentlemen, it is me duty to inform you of a beauty, though I'd ask of you a favor not to seek her for a while, though I own she is a creature of character and feature, though no words could paint the picture of the Queen of all Argyll. And if you could have seen her there, boys, if you had just been there, the swan was in her movements, the morning in her smile, all the roses in the garden. They bow and ask her pardon, for not one could match the beauty of the Queen of all Argyll. On the evening that I mentioned, passed with light intention through a part of our dear country known for beauty and for style, in the place of noble thinkers, scholars and great drinkers. Above them all for splendor shone the Queen of all Argyll. And if you could have seen her there, boys, if you had just been there, the swan was in her movements, the morning in her smile, all the roses in the garden. They bow and ask her pardon, for not one could match the beauty of the Queen of all Argyll. So my lads, I need must leave you. My intention's no to grieve you, no indeed would I deceive you. Oh, I'll see you in a while. I must find some way to gain her, to court her and to tame her, for I fear my heart's in danger from the Queen of all Argyll. And if you could have seen her there, boys, if you had just been there, the swan was in her movements, the morning in her smile, all the roses in the garden. Bow and ask her pardon, for not one could match the beauty of the Queen of all Argyll. Thank you. All righty. You did pretty well with the Scottish sing-along, you did. So you earned a reward. So now we're going to do an Irish sing-along. And you're going to sing the whole chorus instead of just a little piece of the chorus. So this will be your part of the song. You ready? Mary Mac's father's making Mary Mac marry me. My father's making me Mary Mac. I'm gonna marry Mary for my Mary to take care of me. Well, I'll be feeling merry when I marry Mary Mac. All right, that's your part. I'll do the rest. You ready? I have a lady in the front that might be able to do it. But you can do half of it. No? No? Come on, if I can do it, you can do it. All right. We'll do it this way. I will sing the first line, you sing the second line. I will sing Mary Mac's father's making Mary Mac marry me. Your part will be my father's making me marry Mary Mac. My father's making me marry Mary Mac. Very good. You ready? Mary Mac's father's making Mary Mac marry me. I'm sorry. I left out the part about singing it all together. Mary Mac's father's making Mary Mac marry me. My father's making me Mary Mac. I'm Mary from my Mary to take care of me. Well, I'll be feeling merry when I marry Mary Mac. Mary Mac's father's making Mary Mac marry me. I'm gonna marry Mary from my Mary to take care of me. Well, I'll be feeling merry when I marry Mary Mac. Well, there is a little lass and her name is Mary Mac. Make no mistake, she's the girl I want to attack. And the other fellas try to get up on her track. And I'm thinking that I'd have to get up early. Mary Mac's father's making Mary Mac marry me. I'm gonna marry Mary for my Mary to take care of me. Well, I'll be feeling merry when I marry Mary Mac. Well, this little lass, she's got a lot of class, got a lot of brass, and her father thinks I'm gas, and I'd be a silly ass if I let the matter pass. Her father says she treats me really fairly. Mary Mac's father's making Mary Mac marry me. I'm gonna marry Mary for my Mary to take care of me. Well, I'll be feeling merry when I marry Mary Mac. Mary and her mother go an awful lot together. In fact, you hardly ever see the one without the other. And all the people wonder if it's Mary or her mother or the both of them together that are courting. Mary Mac's father's making Mary Mac marry me. I'm gonna marry Mary for my Mary to take care of me. Well, I'll be feeling merry when I marry Mary Mac. Okay, that was good. Well, I'm polite. Now let's do an old Irish sea shanty. Ready? You'll know this one. What do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor early in the morning? Way, hey, up she rises. Way, hey, up she rises. Way, hey, up she rises early in the morning. Shave his belly with a rusty razor. Shave his belly with a rusty razor. Shave his belly with a rusty razor early in the morning. Way, hey, up she rises. Way, hey, up she rises. Way, hey, up she rises early in the morning. Put him in the cabin with the captain's daughter. Put him in the cabin with the captain's daughter. Put him in the cabin with the captain's daughter early in the morning. Way, hey, up she rises. Way, hey, up she rises. Way, hey, up she rises early in the morning. I'm a little quiet now because I want to tell you a story about drunken sailor. 1963, Hollywood, California, TV studio. Producer went into the music department. He said, "We got a new show. I need you to write a song." I said, "Okay. What's the show about?" And they told him. So the people in the music department took Drunken Sailor, twisted it around just a little, not much, wrote new words. Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic port aboard this tiny ship. Drunken Sailor and Gilligan's Island are the same song. The mate was a mighty sailing man, the skipper brave and pure. 5 passengers set sail that day for a 3-hour tour. A 3-hour. Now you know how they ended up on the island. What do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor early in the morning? Way, hey, up she rises. Way, hey, up she rises. Way, hey, up she rises early in the morning. Mary Mac's father's making Mary Mac marry me. You thought I forgot. Mary for my Mary to take care of me. Well, I'll be feeling merry when I marry. We're gonna do it again. Mary Mac's father's making Mary Mac marry me. I'm gonna marry Mary for my Mary to take care of me. Well, I'll be feeling merry when I marry Mary. We're gonna do it one more time. This time we're gonna do it fast. You ready? Mary Mac's father's making Mary Mac marry me. My father's making me Mary Mac. I'm gonna marry Mary for my Mary to take care of me. Well, I'll be feeling merry when I marry Mary Mac. Mary Mac's father's making Mary Mac marry me. I'm gonna marry Mary for my Mary to take care of me. Well, I'll be feeling merry when I marry Mary Mac. Woo! Woo, that's fun, isn't it? So the guy in the television studio has some kind of twisted sense of humor. He got away with it. That was good. Are you having fun tonight? Are you? Thank you. It's all mine. And if you're having fun tonight, please support your library. Libraries have become community centers. They have become places where we can do things like this. so that you can come out and hear music and sing songs and have fun and do things like this. So the libraries need your support, and it allows people like me to travel around from village to village and town to town, the wandering minstrel thing. I like to think that it's much better than having a real job. Although sometimes I wonder. But if you do, then that would be great. And the friends of the library tonight sponsor this. They make it possible for me to come and do this for you tonight, so thank them and support them in any way that you can. If you like the music that you're hearing tonight and you want to hear more of it or hear some different stuff, there's several ways that you can do that. Pretty much any online music service has things of mine that are been recorded for back to the days of 8-track tapes, probably. Things that are on CD. There's CDs in the back of the room. I'd be happy to get them out of my cellar and into yours. The music company would be happy to send me another couple of boxes of them, and I don't want them. But you can buy them online. You can do that. If you don't want to do either, but you want to hear more of the music, just take me home with you tonight and make me dinner. And I'll sit in your house, and while you're making dinner, I'll just play for you. I'll be there. Enough of the commercial. 1855, a young man named John Hunt left his family home in Ireland and came to the United States. He settled in Aberdeen, Maryland, which is just a little bit north of Baltimore, Maryland. If you've ever driven down Interstate 95, he went right through the middle of Aberdeen, Maryland. He got a job, he got married, he had a family. He lived the rest of his life in Aberdeen, Maryland. He died in Aberdeen, Maryland, and he is buried in Aberdeen, Maryland. He never went back to Ireland, and he never saw his family again back in Ireland. As I tell you the story and sing you the song, please keep in mind that when John Hunt came here in 1855, he was 13 years old. Yeah, think about that. Think about that as a mother or an aunt or a grandmother or grandfather, and your 13-year-old child leaves and goes to another country and never comes back, and you never see them again, because that's what they had to do to make their way. That was not uncommon back then, just the way that it worked. Back in Ireland, back in the village of Kilkelly, Ireland, where his family lived, his father, Brian, would sit down every year and he would write the annual family letter. He would dictate the annual family letter because he could not neither read nor write. He would go next door, and the schoolmaster next door would write the letter to John. And he would tell John of all the comings and goings of the family, all of the things, who got married, who died, who had children, all the things that we would do immediately today with a text message or an email, they did in the annual family letter. The letters just kind of went on and on and on. Every letter ended with an appeal to John to come back and see the family. He never did. They never saw him again. This is the true story of the Hunt family from Kilkelly, Ireland. Kilkelly, Ireland, 1860, my dear and loving son John. Your good friend, the schoolmaster, Pat McNamara, so good to write these words down. Your brothers have all gone to find work in England. The house is so empty and sad. The crop of potatoes is sorely infected, a third to a half of them bad. Your sister Bridget and Patrick O'Donnell are going to be married in June. Your mother says not to work on the railroad. Be sure to come on home soon. Kilkelly, Ireland, 1870, my dear and loving son John. Hello to your missus, to your 4 children, may they grow healthy and strong. Our Michael has got in a wee bit of trouble, I don't think that he'll ever learn. Because of the dampness, there's no turf to speak of, we have nothing to burn. And Bridget is happy and named a child for her. You know, she's got 6 of her own. You say you found work, you don't say what kind. When are you coming home? Kilkelly, Ireland, 1880. Michael and John, my sons. I'm sorry to give you the very sad news. Your mother's passed on. We buried her down at the church in Kilkelly. Your brothers and Bridget were there. You don't have to worry, she died very quickly. Remember her in your prayers. It's so good to hear that Michael's returning. With money he's sure to buy land. The corrupt has been poor and the people are selling at any price that they can. Kilkelly, Ireland, 1890, my dear and loving son John. I suppose that I must be close on to 80. 30 years you've been gone. Because of all of the money you sent me, I'm still living out on my own. Michael has built himself a fine house. Bridget's daughters are grown. Thank you for sending your family picture. They're lovely young women and men. Why don't you think about coming to visit? A joy to see you again. Kilkelly, Ireland, 1892. My dear brother John, I'm sorry I didn't write sooner to tell you that father is gone. He was living with Bridget. She said he was cheerful, healthy right up to the end. You should have seen him play with the grandchildren of Pat McNamara, your friend. We buried him alongside of Mother down at the Kilkelly churchyard. He was a strong and a feisty old man, considering his life was so hard. It's funny the way he kept talking about you. He called for you at the end. Oh, why don't you think about coming to visit? We'd all like to see you again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If that one didn't get you, you weren't paying attention. That song has kind of attached itself to me over the years, and I will fill you in on some of the backstory. About a dozen years ago now, I was fortunate enough to have time to sit with the letters, the original letters. There's 23 of them, and transcribe the letters. It was an amazing, amazing event. If you were to go to the internet and Google Kilkelly letters in order to read them, I would be the only source on the internet that I'm aware of for those letters. The first and last letter of the 23 are on my website. There's up there for you to read. I didn't put all 23 of them up there because that would be a lot of scrolling and reading and this and that and the other thing. But I have all 23 of them grouped together in a PDF file, which is the kind of thing that you can send around the internet very easily. So my offer to you is, if you want to read all 23 letters, there's cards in the back that have my website, my email address. Just send me an email, say you met me up here in Chelmsford and you'd like to read the letters. And I would be happy to send you the PDF file when I get home, if I ever get home again. I'm beginning to... I'm sorry?
Where is home?
I live in Western Massachusetts. Home for me this week is in Amesbury, Massachusetts, in a nice little hotel in Amesbury, Massachusetts, which when I look at my schedule for different times of my life, I think of it as a wheel. So I find Amesbury becomes the hub for these 4 or 5 days now. And instead of moving all the time, I can go back there every night and I just kind of tangent out in different spokes and go play in different places and head back to Amesbury. It's not the kind of place I'd pick for vacation, but it works for what I'm doing right now. I live out by Springfield in western Massachusetts. I think I'm going to get home Saturday night or Sunday morning. At least that is the hope. And I would be happy to send you the letters when I get there. But I tell you that so that you can understand that I hear from people all over the world about the letters. Because people hear the song, they get interested in the letters, they Google it, they find me. And I send the letters all over the world to different people, and I hear back from them after they've read them. And it's really very interesting to have a little conversation about the letters. 5 years ago, I got an email from a gentleman just outside of Atlantic City, New Jersey, in a little town down there. And he said he Googled the letters and he found me, and could I please send him the file of the letters? So I did that. And he emailed me right back, almost immediately, thanking me for the letters and telling me his story. Do you remember the part of the song about Michael, the brother Michael, who got in trouble and then he bought a house and moved away and all that? This is Michael Hunt's great-grandson. The Hunt family had not seen the letters. They knew of them, they knew of the story, but they had never seen the original letters. So I was able to send him a transcription of the letters, and it was really very cool to be able to do that and converse with him. He had just come back from a trip to Kilkelly, Ireland, where he had done the genealogy thing, and he sent me pictures. They were interesting. I mean, there's a big picture of a lot of grass, which is where the house used to be. It's just an empty lot. This is where the house was. Yeah. It was meaningful, but it was just a picture of grass. He sent me a picture of the family gravestone. And in the Irish families, everybody gets buried in the same place, and all the names go on one gravestone. And I started reading the gravestone, and I said, I don't recognize these names of these people. Who are these people? So I emailed him, and I said, who are all these people on the gravestone? Somehow, in the Irish families, and the Irish folks will understand this, you have a name that you're born with, and then you have a name that they call you, which are usually quite different. And it happens that way. So the part of the song where Bridget, the sister Bridget, who was kind of a focal point in the song, Bridget's name was Sarah. But they wrote the song about Bridget because that's what they called her. So please take advantage of reading the letters because the story is powerful. When I transcribed them, I did it as close as I could to the way that it was written. So think of the old Shakespeare way of writing. It's kind of hard to follow at times. And there are a few places where I just didn't know what the thing said, and I just kind of stuck words in there. But you'll get the gist of it.
Where are the original letters?
Where are they? They are in a Celtic music archive.
Where?
I'm not supposed to tell people.
Oh.
Okay. They're in a Celtic music archive in a state that begins with the letter M, and it's not Massachusetts. How's that? I don't know. I don't know why they don't want people to know where they are. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. And I wish I could be more honest with you than that. But that was kind of like part of the deal. If you want to do this, yeah. When I was given the opportunity, I had to agree to that. So that was pretty easy. Yeah. But I now have the ability to share the transcriptions with people all over the place, and it's really very cool. So please take advantage of that. I'm going to sing you one more song before we have to go off tonight. It's a great night. It's not snowing. Yeah, for a change. We have been getting pounded and pounded and pounded with snowstorms. I played Monday night. Today's Thursday. Monday night, I played in Plymouth, Massachusetts. Whoa, yeah, Plymouth, Massachusetts is now under like 19 feet of snow or something down there. But the storm hadn't started. I left Plymouth, Massachusetts around 11 o'clock, 11:15, and I beat feet back to western Massachusetts, and I didn't travel in a storm. I missed it. But I just got out of there in time. But here's how you know it was tough. So I roll out of bed Tuesday morning bright and early because I'm supposed to travel Tuesday, and I flip on the Weather Channel to see how things are. Jim Cantori. You know who Jim Cantori is? Jim Cantori is standing about a half a mile from where I played Monday night. in downtown Plymouth, and you can't see him on the camera. I got out of here just in time. So I'm going to play you one more. You'll know this one. Many of you know this one. This, if you Google it, look it up, it will tell you is a traditional Scottish song, which would be really cool if it were true, but it's not. The song was written in Belfast, Ireland in 1957 by a man named Francis McPeak. That makes it neither traditional nor Scottish, but it's still one of the most beautiful Celtic songs there is. So when you get to the chorus, especially, you'll know it. You sing along with me, and we'll just have a fine old time. Oh, the summertime is coming, and the leaves are sweetly turning. Wild mountain thyme grows around the purple heather. Will you go, lassie, go? And we'll all go together to pull wild mountain thyme from around the purple heather. Will you go, lassie, go? I will build my love a bower by yon pure, clear crystal fountain. Round it I will pile all the wild flowers of the mountain. Will you go, lassie, go? And we'll all go together to pull wild mountain thyme from around the purple heather. Will you go, lassie, go? I will range through the wild and the deep land so dreary, returning with my spoil to the bower of my dearie. Will you go, lassie, go? And we'll all go together to pull wild mountain thyme from around the purple heather. Will you go, lassie, go? Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you had a good time, please let the folks at the library know. If you had a bad time, please let the folks at the library know that also. They need to know what you think of these things. Thank you very much. Be safe. May you be safe and warm and never grow old.